Hello, you're welcome. In this video, I want to show you how you can perform simple chatting in your ThinkCell. So I'm currently in my PowerPoint and in the Home tab. So to be able to use ThinkCell to perform my chatting, I will need to come to this ThinkCell tab. I'll click on this ThinkCell tab. Then under Elements section, I have this chat. So from here, I can select any kind of chat that I want here. So in my case, I want to use this clustered column chart. So you can see we can use it in different ways. So it can be flipped to the right or to the left or flipped down. So I can actually, once I've seen the position that I want it to be, I can click on it. For example, if I click here and I place it here, you can see it is currently flipped down. Then this is the data sheet that led to this. But I don't want it flipped down, so I will just delete this and come back, then put it the way I want it. I want it the normal way. So I will just click on it and then come here. I can resize based on how I want it to be. So once I right click here, I can select the size that I want it to have and then I release it. So you can see. So now I have the option to be able to adjust my size from these very points. So any of these points, I can use that point to drag and adjust my size. Can move this as well as perform different kind of drags so as to be sure that I've gotten it to the position that I want it to be. So once I've done this, I can actually open my data sheet and make edits so as to have the kind of data that I really want here. So these are dummy data and I may not want my data to be exactly like this. So what I will do is either I come here where I have this data sheet symbol and click on it, double. So once I double tap on it, you see my data sheet appears here. I also have the option to come here where no column is selected and double click on it. You can see I have my data sheet also appear here. So I want to change this to Apple. And I want to change this to Microsoft. Okay. So now what I will do is to show you what the result is. You can see that it's now blue for Apple and orange is Microsoft. So there are other options for my editing. I can decide to change the values that I have in here. For example, this 4.3, as I'm changing it, you'll see that it's dynamically changing here. So I can just change this to 6.5. You can see it dynamically changes. For this one, I want to change it to 4.5. You also see it changes immediately. For this, I want to change it to 2.0. So everything is just happening as I'm making my changes. For this, I want it to change to 6, for example. So you can see these are just the little adjustments that we can make on our data entry to have our data the way we want it and to appear in our chart that way. Now, after I've worked on my data sheet, I can decide I now want to work on individual elements here. So this is the biggest value, no doubt, from what we can see here. So, and I want to color this differently. So what I will do is just to click on this, and then you can see I have the option to change the accent, to change the color. Currently it's accent 1. So I can change this to this TC red to make it prominent. So this actually makes the color of the biggest so visible. For the smallest, I can click on it and then decide, okay, I want to change it to this smoke color. Okay, and this is me changing the color of the individual bars that I have here. Okay, Now, it is also possible for me to change the color of the entire chart. So I will use the themes for this. So what I will do is just to click. I will click inside here, and then I have the option to change my PowerPoint theme. So I can select here and decide, okay, I want to use this legacy. Once I click on it, you see that the theme in here changes. I can also decide I want to use this smoke blue, and this is it. It still changes, same as these patterns. So everything is based on my selection. Okay, now let me just go back to this PowerPoint theme. So these themes that I'm changing, the options that I have here is dependent on the options that I have in my PowerPoint. Okay, so now this is for the changing of the individual colors as well as the color for the entire chart. So another thing that you can also change for individual and entire is the settings for various elements. So you can edit various elements. You can actually edit a specific color. Let's say this Microsoft 6, I can right click on it. So once I right click on it, you can see I have options here. So from here, I can decide on which I want to select. So this is actually for individual selection. Then here where I have grade options, it tells me that these options are not available for this individual selection. Okay, or probably in this very chart that I'm preparing. It may be available for other charts, but not this chart or not this individual selection. So here I can decide to add this total difference. So if I click on this add total difference, you can see it is adding the total difference for 2024 and 2025. Now I can decide this is not how I want it. I want it to add the total difference from 2023 to 2024. So I will just click on this arrow. Then this very point, I drag it to where I want it to be. So I want it to be here, so I will drag it here. And you can see it is now adding, showing the difference between 2023 to 2024. I can also decide I want to add the difference from 2023 to 2025. This I can do by just clicking here and bringing it here. And you can see it adds it for me. So now I can also make other editing based on the various bars that I have here. So individual editing. So here I can edit this element again to select what I want. So I can decide to add any of these features. For this one, add segment label. So this will only affect the very bar that I've selected. So if I add this segment label, you can see it appears here. It does not appear for any other one. So this is specific for the element is specific for the bar that I've selected. This is different when I decide I want to work for the entire sheet. Okay, so any of these options you can select for an individual bar. Now, if I want to work with the entire sheet, I will just come to this and then right click right inside here and not in any of the bars. So once I right click here, all these options that I have now are specific to the entire bars that I have here. Okay, so the ones that are gray are the ones that are not available. So you can actually delete, you can link to an external Excel sheet, you can add level differences, as well as any of these options. All these are available. So let me just say I want to add this value line. Once I click on this value line, you see it appear here. So this is for the entire chart. So if I want to change the position of this very value line, I can just click here and then drag it to where I want it to be. So once I drag it there, it stays there. And that's just what this editing is all about once you have inserted your chart in ThinkCell. I hope you've been able to find this video helpful. Please, if you have, kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.